So you would think that buying like an in-house product from certain beauty sellers like Sephora's own brand, Beauty Bay's own brand, that this is a sure way of saving money, right? On makeup, on beauty products, but still getting a level of quality you would expect from these brands. Well, think again. What if I told you that this may not be the case at all? So Mecca, if you don't know, is an Australian beauty giant. Think Sephora, but Australia's own. And the beloved Australian beauty giant might be pulling one over on its customers. Yeah. A TikToker named Jillie Clarkk recently uncovered a very kind of shocking but not so shocking truth, right? Mecca's in-house product range, known as Mecca Max, which is marked as affordable alternatives to luxury brands, might be costing more than the high-end names, and yes, I mean high-end names, that they compare themselves to. They describe it as driven by Mecca's beauty obsession and created in collaboration with our in-store hosts who know beauty best, Mecca Max is a dream lineup of high-performing real-life essentials with must-have complexion products, non-stop pops of pigment, skincare stars, and more. And it's always marketed within their marketing as the more affordable option, right? So their so-called like budget-friendly options could be actually draining your money faster than just going out and splurging on luxury in one shop. You know what I mean? Now, you may not be in Australia, you may not be a customer of Mecca, but if it's happening with a billion-dollar brand like Mecca out in Australia, could it be happening in your home country too? So in this video today, if you haven't guessed already, we're going to be looking at how this one content creator exposed, and I mean exposed because there's lots of bits to this, how Mecca could be using clever and kind of not so clever marketing to disguise a pricing scam. Are their products really worth the price? Is it really saving people money? Is it really saving their customers money to buy a Mecca powder versus a Huda Beauty powder? Or are they giving us fake affordability, right? Let's get into it. So this situation was actually sent to me over on Instagram, and it was the first I've ever heard about it, ever. I guess because I'm not on like Australia's algorithm in any way, so I guess I would have never heard about it. You never hear about Mecca anyway, right? Well, I never do unless you're in Australia. And Australia is actually one of the biggest countries where my audience comes from, so hello. Happy summertime for you. And actually, when I used to live in Australia, I lived in Melbourne, I would visit Mecca a few times, and it kind of weirded me out a little bit because the one in Melbourne Central was a little bit dark every time I went in, and I just didn't get the vibe. And the staff there, when I was there anyway, were like kind of rude. So I'm familiar with Mecca, but this touches on a subject I've always wondered. I've always thought about this. Are we really getting a bargain when we purchase things deemed as affordable of their own brand from huge brands like Mecca? And I was kind of shocked to see what Jillie Clarkk, the content creator, had to say. Let's just watch and get into it.
I told you that Mecca Max was completely ripping you off. Would you believe me? Because that is exactly what I'm about to tell you. And listen, I don't usually math, but when I math, I'm a math about something like this. If you're not familiar with Mecca Max, they are the house brand for the Mecca stores that exist within Australia and New Zealand, and they're very well known for being the more affordable option within the store. And at face value, they are the more affordable option. When you walk into the Mecca Max section, you see products that are listed for $20, $24, $26, $28.
This is Australian dollars, by the way, everyone. So the conversion, it might not sound affordable, but it is.
By comparison, they do appear to be more affordable than the other brands that exist within that store. Have you checked the grams though? Because I did, and that's where this all started. This was the product that started this entire thing for me. This is the Brow Guru Micromatic Pencil. I purchased this within 2 weeks it ran out. 2 weeks. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Looked at the grams, 0.04 grams. That might not mean anything to you, except for the fact that the industry standard is 0.08 grams. I'm going to call it the industry standard. When you look at brands like your ABH, your Benefit Cosmetics, your Kosas, their brow products are a minimum 0.08 grams.
So here's an unopened, let me just take off a plastic, brow pencil from Sephora. I actually have it Sephora's own. Taking off the plastic now, so you can see it's brand new. And on the pencil, it does say 0.08 grams. Let me just wind it all the way up. Does it wind back down? Yes, it winds back down. Let me wind it all the way up so you can see that 0.80 grams from here up. So what Mecca is selling is half of this. If you have a lot of brow, that's not a lot of pencil.
is quite literally half. I know what you're going to say, but Jill, the Brow Guru retails for $20. Yes, it does, but stay with me. Anastasia Brow Wiz retails for $40 for 0.08 grams. Mecca Max Brow Guru retails for $20 for 0.04 grams. Mecca Max is known for being the more affordable option. It's not, because that's the same amount of dollars per gram. Right. And that's not the only instance. Introducing my next victim, this is the Mecca Max Life Proof Cream Concealer, which retails for $24. This is the Tarte Shape Tape, retailing for $51. Mecca Max 5 mils, Tarte 10 mils. For the same amount of mils as the Shape Tape, this now becomes $48. $3 difference for a significantly better formula. No, we're not even close to done, because the best and most outrageous one is next. This is the Mecca Max Life Proof Setting Powder. It retails for $28. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder. This retails for $66. Now, once again, on face value, if you saw these on a shelf and you were on a budget, I bet my bottom dollar you'd pick up the $28 one over the $66 one. Don't. The Mecca Max powder has 5 grams in it. The Huda Beauty powder has 20 grams in it. Huda Beauty quite literally has 4 times the amount of product in it than the Mecca Max. Now, if I timed $28 by 4 to give me the same amount of product as Huda Beauty, guess how much this now costs you? $112.
That's insane.
Jill, I don't like the Huda Beauty powder. What about Laura Mercier? Yeah, this has got 20 grams in it as well. It retails for $78. It still has 4 times the amount of product as this, which still makes this $112 at the same amount of grams. So I guess the moral to the story here is that when you walk into these stores and you see the price tag, simply because it looks cheaper on face value compared to the items around it, doesn't mean it is. It doesn't mean that it's worth your money.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you, $112 for 20 grams worth of loose setting powder, not worth it to me. No. And I didn't even get into the formulation. So now do you believe me when I tell you that Mecca Max is ripping you off?
Okay, right. So some people might make an argument here that, okay, perhaps you can't afford a $60 powder in one, I'm just making a price up now because I'm so bad with numbers, I forget them, in one shopping visit. So you get the one that costs half the price. But if Mecca are actually advertising themselves as a more affordable option, you're not more affordable. You are half the price. You're literally halving the price. And in some cases, not even, you're actually more expensive when you work it out. So yes, it may be cheaper in that moment, but that's not even the point of these like more affordable brands. It's not like, okay, you can't afford that product, so we'll just half it for you and here's half. You know what I mean? And then you're getting a lesser formula for the price. So it's all about formula also. It's not just about price and value of what you're getting. So really the point here, I think that, I don't know if she's, oh, it's Jillie. Did I say Jill? Jillie. Did I call her Jill? I think the point Jillie's trying to make here is you might as well go and buy that whole big product, save up for it, buy it. It's going to last you longer because the formula's better. That tends to be a thing you need to use less. Sorry. Oh, stuttering. But also, Mecca, why are you marketing yourself as more affordable in terms of the product? Like, if this just doesn't make sense. Now, one thing I did notice, which some people may bring up, is that Jillie is part of the Sephora squad in Australia, which people may be like, oh, she's just, trying to big up Sephora, and Mecca being a direct competitor, which I would have to say, I don't think Sephora would go out of the way and be like, right, everyone talks shit about competitors. They wouldn't do that. And she's not talking shit, she's bringing up a very valid and factual point, right? So Mecca Max actually did a campaign, and it was called like 50 cent per aware campaign, where you're doing like a full face of makeup, whatever it is, for 50 cents. I think what we have to do is watch Jillie's video about this first to make sense of a campaign, because she explains it much better and why it's not good.
This video is for the Mecca Max execs who are involved.
Her lip shades, by the way, are always so beautiful. Okay.
The recent 50 cent cost per wear campaign. But if you're a news outlet, I have a feeling you're going to want to keep watching as well. 9 months ago, I told you that Mecca Max was completely ripping you off. Well, last night I discovered the holy grail of all holy grail Mecca Max ripoffs, and it comes in the form of their recent 50 cent cost per wear campaign. For some quick context purposes, Mecca Max is the in-house brand of the Mecca stores. It's positioned in the market as the more affordable option. Now, their 50 cent cost per wear campaign went live in November, and it essentially tells you that on a select few Mecca Max products, you can create a full face for 50 cents. Now, I was already pissed off at this campaign, but it's actually the disclaimer on the campaign that led to this discovery. Mecca currently has an article on their website about this 50 cent cost per wear campaign. It essentially shows you 3 different looks with a breakdown of the different Mecca Max products that were used and the subsequent cost per wear per product. Now, the disclaimer on this article is that cost per wear is based on average daily recommended usage amounts. Mecca, how exactly did you quantify this? Because
okay, let's just pause that video then. I went to their website and I took some screenshots off this thing, right? So it says, we've done the math. Here's an entire face of makeup for 50 cents, right? So at Mecca HQ, we're no strangers to justifying our products by working by working out our favorite products per cost per wear. So basically what they do is they give you a look and they give you some products and then they break down the cost of every single application, right? So for example here, look 1, your daily beauty uniform, and they have cost per wear breakdown. So they're saying that their off-duty serum skin tint is going to cost 9 cents per a time you use it. The off-duty blush stick is going to cost 3 cents per every time you use it. And the Whiplash Tubing Mascara is only 26 cents every 1 application. And they also go on to do a few more of these breakdowns, and they touch on every kind of product within their brand: mascaras, brow products, skin tints, lips, everything. And you can see here, 3 cents per wear. Sounds like you're getting a really, really good bargain for something, right? Okay, back to Jillie.
The title of your article is We've Done the Maths. Well, so did I, and so did ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you what I found.
Right, so just again, quickly, you're probably following it, but I know some people are like me and aren't the best at following things. So now she's taken a look at this article, she's seen all those prices that Mecca have given us, and she's literally been like, that's not correct. Let's really break it down per measurement, per gram, per weight, and how much people actually do use on a daily basis.
Let's start with their off-duty serum skin tint. Now, this product is 30 mils and it retails for $32. According to Mecca's campaign, this has a cost per wear of 9 cents. Now, at a cost per wear of 9 cents for 30 mils, that would mean there are 356 uses. Now, according to your disclaimer of this being based off daily recommended usage, for 356 uses in this bottle, that would equate to one single use being 0.084 mils. I'm going to show you what 0.084 mils looks like. This is a 1 milliliter medical syringe, and we're going to use it to extract 0.08 mils from that skin tint bottle. That is exactly 0.8 mils.
Now, who in the fuck is doing that's my cheek. Now, I'm all up for having a natural look, but that won't even achieve a natural look. That is ridiculous. That is the entrance to the syringe. Look, it's smaller than her fingernail. It's smaller than half her fingernail.
That's how much product you're telling people to use for their full face. Now, the fucked up part's not even the amount of product. It's the fact that this has a 6-month expiration, which means that at 356 uses, even if you wore this every single day, it would still expire before you had the chance to validate the 9 cent cost per wear. Not to mention the fact that you greenlit content for this campaign that shows people using 4 to 5 times the amount of product than what actually validates your figures on this campaign. That's false advertising. But the skin tint's actually not the worst of it. Introducing the off-duty blush stick. This retails for $20 and it has 6.5 grams of product. Now, according to their website, Mecca tells us that this has a cost per wear of 3 cents. Our cost per wear of 3 cents for 6.5 grams means that this has 667 uses, meaning that each use is 0.009 grams. That unit is so small that I cannot even show you what that looks like. What I can tell you though is that this has an expiration of 18 months. There is an average of 548 days in 18 months, which means that at 667 uses, once again, this would expire before you even had the chance to validate Mecca's cost per wear. We'll also note that I used to purchase these religiously and not once did this last me longer than 3 months. Our next campaign victim is the Whiplash Tubing Mascara. This retails for $26 and it has 8 mils of product. Our Mecca's telling us that this has a cost per wear of 26 cents, which at 8 milliliters of product means that there is 100 uses in this tube. each use equating to 0.08 mils. Let's be so for real, there's not a chance in hell you're getting 100 uses out of this. This would be drier than the Sahara Desert if you tried to use it 100 times. Mecca, I would really like to see you show us exactly what 0.08 mils of mascara looks like on the eyelashes. Yeah. Let's talk about the campaign for a second, because Mecca, instead of choosing to pull this data from a pool of your consumers and their individual consumer behaviors, you have decided to dictate to us how much of your product we should be using. And in doing that, you've provided us with at least 2 products that would actually expire before we even have the chance to validate the cost per wear that you dictated. Not only that, but you have chosen to run a priced-focused campaign in a cost of living crisis. Let me be so clear to everybody who is purchasing Mecca Max products that's watching this. This kind of marketing, this kind of campaign relies on you as the consumer not pulling back the curtain. My personal opinion, one of 2 things has happened. Either this passed through so many hands undetected, which means that Mecca's team is not doing their due diligence, and that is a problem in and of itself, or you knew. You knew the maths, you knew the figures, you knew the expiry date issue, and you chose to greenlight it anyway. The title of the article for this campaign on your website is "We've Done the Maths." That suggests to me that you knew about this. And yet you chose to greenlight a price-focused marketing campaign in a cost of living crisis that relies on the Australian consumer not looking behind the curtain. Goes without saying that no brand, whether it's makeup or clothing, can dictate to you your personal cost per wear. That is up to the consumer's individual behavior. And as one of the biggest beauty retailers in the country, I would hazard a guess that you understand consumer behavior quite well. So how did this campaign get greenlit? It's like they think we're stupid, and I hope as consumers this pisses you off just as much as it pisses me off. Shame job.
It's very, very frustrating. I obviously don't shop there because I can't, but it's incredibly frustrating that I'm laughing, it's not funny, but it's so ridiculous. The measurements they've come up with, I would love to know how they came up with these measurements. Who wears that much of a skin tint? If that was a full coverage foundation, then I'll be like, passable, but not really. That is a skin tint. That is a very sheer product. What we're doing, covering the tip of our nose only. That is wild. And the thing is, no one's going to look at that article. Well, no one like me is going to look at that article, see all those numbers, and attempt to work it out myself when they're like, we did the maths. No, I'm not going to do that. 1, dyslexia. 2, dyslexia. But I'm not going to do that. Isn't that wild? So the campaign itself is actually a bit of a strange one. Let me just turn the sound down here. Actually, is there talking? And, you know, it wasn't just on their website they said this. This was their campaign for this.
YOZ divided by 6, skin tint is 32, we get 9 cents gram per wear. Calculating 3 drops, and blush at 6.5 grams, 2.40 divided by 0.03. What have we got here? Okay. Let's run these numbers. We need that. Foundation, concealer, registering average face scan. Add that, pop that here. We got it. That means the cost per wear is...
So people saw that advert and was like, oh, I read some comments on it, and it was people like, why are you using a man? Men wear makeup too. Come on. It's 2025. Men wearing makeup is the least of your worries. Anyway, they are very much like, yeah, we've worked it all out. We've worked it all out. Obviously not this way. No one's in the office, you know, hacking the mainframe. But it was a big deal. They made a whole campaign out of it. Someone commented to Jillie and said, Mecca better respond, right? And this is where I've taken it so far. I would highly suggest you go and follow her over on TikTok. It's back up, so I guess you can. Just to see her what she says, and I'm gonna follow her to try and keep up with what happens also. But this is the last video I've seen about it.
Oh, we officially have our first response from Mecca. I'm going to read it to you. So this comes off the back of Pedestrian TV running an article regarding my video. I'll let you go and read the full article, but I'm going to read you Mecca's response. Now, I'll save you all of their marketing wazi-woozies with regards to weighing it on a precision scale and taking the average and 6 experts and blah, 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 because most of that information is essentially already available in that initial article that's on their website.
How did it take 6 experts to work out how much makeup people wear? Why do you need 6 people? I can tell you how much makeup people wear. Not what they're saying.
Yeah. We heard you the first time. The math's still not mathing, babe. So let's move on to the expiry date issue, which they did also provide a comment on. It reads as follows. When it comes to the concerns of how long you'd be able to use the products for under their guidelines of the campaign, they said all the products used in the campaign include a period after opening date, which is essentially a best before date after opening, not an expiry date. Mecca Max's PAO dates are conservative and the expiry will depend on how the product is stored. So you're telling me that you have a period after opening date on your products that isn't accurate? Okay. Mecca, you dictated to us what the PAO dates were of your cosmetics, but now that you're being called out for the fact that those dates don't actually match the metrics of this campaign, now the dates are inaccurate. And then they talk about the influencer part of this. This one's my favorite. Not all influencers would have had access to the precise measurement tools, so we provided general guidelines to help them create their looks. This is why there may be some variance in coverage and may result in very small difference to the cost of the look depending on how much of the products were used. So Mecca, just so that you and I are on the same page, does that mean that you chose to work with certain influencers because of their level of influence and the trust that their followers have in them, but you were okay with them not sharing the correct information as part of the campaign that you were paying them to promote? Because you would have had to have shipped that product out to them, right? And given the size of your business and the resources that you have at your fingertips, I would hazard a guess that you would have also been able to ship to them a precise measurement tool. Buffoonery. So basically this whole statement's just word salad. There's no proper acknowledgement, there's no apology, and quite frankly, I don't actually think that we'll get anything else from them. I don't think that they'll post any sort of additional statement to this. I honestly believe that they think that this is enough and that as consumers, we will think that this is enough. But realistically, we shouldn't. The fact is that this is not their first controversy. It's not their first scandal. It's actually not even the only controversy that they have right now. Once again, shame job.
How are you gonna... correct about everything, but how are you, Mecca, how are you going to say it has taken 6 experts to come up with these numbers? Those experts, let me tell you, are not so expert, right? 6 people to come up with those measurements, and you saw all the measurements. Did they then try it? Expert what? Expert what? Did you then all try the measurements? Did you try that measurement of mascara? Did you try that measurement of blush? Experts that couldn't see that actually your measurements will take you past the expiry date. Experts in how people apply their makeup now, because no one applies their makeup with that minimal amount. People don't always wear full coverage, they don't always wear heavy makeup, but nobody is using that tiny amount of skin. I have a skin tint on now and I use probably 5 times more of that, you know? I feel like this is definitely one of those situations where if you didn't, if somebody hadn't made a video about this or hadn't pointed it out, nobody would have realized. I haven't actually checked her profile since I put all this together, so it'll be interesting to go and see what else has developed. But I'll link her TikTok in the description box down below. If she has any other socials, if you don't have TikTok, I'll link those down below in the description box for you. Also, Mecca, shame on you. Admit you fucked up. It's fine. Well, it's not fine. It's not fine. Because you have, as a big, huge brand like this, you have the money and the people on your team that should know what they're talking about, right? And should be able to put stuff like this together and see the mistakes and see the things that you've actually said wrong and incorrect in your advertising, in what you're claiming. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know your opinions on this down below. Do you trust brands, big, huge brands, and their own brands? Are you getting a cheaper deal? Check the grams. Check the grams. I'll be interested to see. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do subscribe. What else? Give this video a thumbs up and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.